What would you do if the fate of humanity depended on a single moment of bravery? If every step, every choice, determined not just your survival, but the survival of an entire species? This is the story of how humanity, broken and scattered, ignited one last crusade against an empire that had never tasted defeat. The scene opens with silence, eerily hollow and haunting. The camera pans across the shattered remnants of Earth. Skyscrapers lie in ruins, their skeletal frames stretching out like desperate hands toward a sun choked by a veil of ash. The once vibrant oceans, now grey and lifeless, lap at the charred coastlines. Humanity's home is unrecognizable, a graveyard of memories. A lone figure stands atop a crumbling cliff, silhouetted against the dim light of the dying sun. Their breathing is heavy, their armor battered, and their eyes reflect a depth of pain and determination born of countless losses. This is Commander Alina Vera, the last hope of the human race. Alina clutches a small device glowing faintly blue, the relic of their stolen future. "They thought they broke us," she whispers, her voice trembling but resolute. "But from these ashes, we rise." A sharp cut transitions to the vastness of space, where the KLYX Empire's ships, cold, angular, and menacing, drift like predators in a dark ocean. The KLYX, a race whose conquest spans galaxies, loom as humanity's tormentors. Their symbol of dominance, the core, a pulsating, crystalline sphere that siphons the energy of captured worlds. And Earth was its latest victim. The screen flickers to the human resistance fleet, a patchwork of salvaged ships held together by desperation and ingenuity. Inside the command center, voices buzz with panic and determination. "The KLYX know we're coming," a voice warns over the comms. "We won't get another shot." The stakes are laid bare. This isn't just about survival, it's about revenge, reclaiming what was stolen, and proving that even in the face of annihilation, humanity will not bow. The fleet prepares for one last assault on the KLYX mothership, where the core is kept. Failure means extinction. Success means hope, albeit slim. The tension mounts as Alina's voice echoes over the intercom. "This isn't just about us. It's about every soul we've lost, every child who will never see the stars. Tonight, we remind them that humanity is not a species to be forgotten." The camera lingers on the faces of the crew, young, old, battle-worn, hopeful. Their expressions tell stories of loss, resilience, and a shared determination. For them, this fight is personal. The scene ends with the Resistance fleet emerging from hyperspace, the KLYX armada awaiting them like an impenetrable wall of death. Alina's voice cuts through the silence once more, calm and steady, from ashes to stars, humanity rises. This is our final crusade. As the screen fades to black, the sounds of alarms, engines, and distant explosions blend into a crescendo, leaving the audience breathless, eager to witness the outcome. The universe was no longer a place of wonder, it had become a battlefield. Once brimming with life, vibrant stars, and uncharted mysteries, the galaxy now bore the scars of relentless war. Space, vast and infinite, felt suffocating under the shadow of the KLYX Empire, a juggernaut that devoured planets and extinguished civilizations in its quest for absolute dominance. The story begins on the outskirts of a shattered solar system. The remnants of a forgotten colony float in eerie silence, orbiting a dying star that bathes the scene in a dim, reddish glow. Jagged fragments of what were once bustling space stations drift aimlessly, their metal hulls twisted and charred from battles long since lost. The occasional burst of sparks from exposed wiring flickers like fireflies in the vacuum, a haunting reminder of lives snuffed out in an instant. In the distance, the looming presence of the KLYX mothership dominates the horizon, a behemoth of blackened steel and pulsating lights. Its surface is alive with movement, the alien ship's biomechanical design an unsettling blend of organic fluidity and industrial menace. The ship emits a low, resonant hum, a sound that vibrates through the void like a predator's growl, forewarning of its dominance. This is not just a vessel, it is a symbol of power, a harbinger of despair. Nearby, the faint outline of a barren planet comes into view. Its surface is veiled in thick, toxic clouds, the ground beneath a wasteland of jagged rocks and ash. Craters dot the landscape like open wounds, each a testament to the KLYX's devastating planetary sieges. There is no vegetation, no signs of life, only the echo of destruction and the faint whisper of winds carrying the ash of what once was. Yet, amidst this desolation, there is movement. A fleet of ships, battered and patched together from whatever scraps humanity could salvage, glides through the darkness. They are a stark contrast to the imposing elegance of the KLYX mothership, rusted, uneven, but alive. These ships carry the last fragments of Earth's resistance, their hulls covered in scorch marks and makeshift reinforcements. Each ship hums with defiance, their engines a chorus of humanity's refusal to surrender. The silence of space is broken by the distant crackle of encrypted transmissions. The voices, tense and hurried, carry the weight of desperation and resolve. Inside one of the ships, flickering screens display maps of enemy movements, plans scrawled over them in bright red. The crew moves with purpose, their faces shadowed by the dim, flickering light of emergency panels. Every movement, every sound, feels deliberate. There is no room for error, not this time. The atmosphere is grim but charged with an undercurrent of hope. The resistance knows they are outmatched, outgunned, and outnumbered. Yet, they move forward, fueled by a stubborn refusal to let the galaxy forget them. This is the world where the story unfolds, a place where despair and resilience collide, and humanity clings to the fragile thread of survival, determined to turn ashes into stars. Let me know how you'd like to continue. The fleet's silence was shattered by an alarm, a piercing wail that sent ripples of unease through the cramped corridors of the lead ship. Red lights bathed the cabin as warning signals flashed across every monitor. On the main display, a holographic map of the sector flickered to life, and there it was, a KLYX patrol fleet, sleek and deadly, cutting through space like a pack of wolves. "They found us," a voice crackled through the comms, heavy with dread. The KLYX ships, smaller than the mothership but just as lethal, were closing in fast. Their jagged forms emitted a sinister glow, a stark contrast to the dull, battered vessels of the Resistance. The hologram calculated the odds, a dismal red line that dipped closer to zero with every passing second. Tension gripped the crew. The Resistance had planned for a covert approach, banking on their ability to slip past the KLYX undetected. This patrol was an unaccounted-for variable, a deadly twist in their already fragile strategy. The stakes couldn't be higher. A firefight here wouldn't just risk their lives, it could expose their position to the mothership and snuff out humanity's last hope before it even began. "What's the call?" a younger officer asked, their voice betraying a mix of fear and determination. The response came quickly, sharp and resolute: hold formation. Divert power to stealth systems. We can't afford to engage. But it wasn't that simple. The KLYX patrol was equipped with advanced scanning technology, capable of detecting even the faintest energy signatures. The Resistance ships, cobbled together with limited resources, were no match for the precision of their pursuers. Every second the patrol drew closer, the crew could feel the weight of impending doom pressing down on them. Whispers of doubt rippled through the ranks. Could they even make it past the KLYX defenses? Was this mission destined to fail before it began? The Resistance wasn't just fighting an external enemy, they were battling their own fears, their own doubts. In the distance, the KLYX ships began to spread out, their predatory movements designed to encircle the Resistance fleet. The hologram's red warning line dipped even lower. The air was thick with tension, the hum of the engines amplified in the quiet. The crew braced themselves for the inevitable, knowing that the slightest mistake could mean the end. What's at stake? Humanity's survival. What could be lost? Everything. Ready for the next scene? The Resistance fleet drifted in eerie stillness, engines powered down to minimize their energy signature. Every monitor displayed the same ominous sight, the KLYX patrol tightening their net, their jagged ships weaving a deadly web. The seconds dragged, each one punctuated by the tense, shallow breaths of the crew. And then it happened, a faint burst of static across the comms. At first, it seemed like interference, but then the sound sharpened into something unmistakable, an encrypted transmission. It wasn't from their fleet. The signal was alien in origin, laced with the unmistakable cadence of KLYX communication. "They're signaling the mothership," a technician reported, panic rising in their voice. "They've detected us." A wave of horror rippled through the command center. The mission was compromised. The KLYX mothership, with its vast fleet and impenetrable defenses, would soon be bearing down on them. Escape was no longer an option. The resistance would be annihilated before they could even get within range of the core. Amid the chaos, a low, calculated voice cut through the noise. "We can't let that signal reach them." It was a stark reminder of the stakes. If the patrol succeeded in alerting the mothership, humanity's last stand would end here, in the cold void of space. "Options," someone demanded, desperation evident in their tone. The answer came quickly, though it carried a grim weight. "We intercept the patrol. Disable them before the signal gets through." The room fell silent. To attack now would mean abandoning stealth, drawing the full attention of the patrol fleet. It was a gamble, one that could doom them all. But the alternative was far worse, the complete and utter failure of their mission. The decision came down to a single moment, a single choice. Engines roared to life, and the fleet surged forward. Alarms blared as weapons systems powered up, targeting the KLYX patrol. "All ships, prepare for combat," the order came, sharp and unyielding. "We hold the line here. This ends now." As the resistance fleet closed the distance, the KLYX patrol responded with precision, their sleek ships pivoting into formation. Blinding beams of energy erupted in every direction, illuminating the darkness of space in a deadly light show. The resistance had no choice but to fight, against overwhelming odds, against their fears, against time itself. The battle had begun, and with it, the crusade to reclaim humanity's future. "Let me know when you're ready for the next scene." The void of space was now alight with chaos. The KLYX patrol fleet moved with surgical precision, their energy beams cutting through the dark like knives, each shot designed to cripple or destroy. The resistance ships, battered and pieced together with desperate ingenuity, maneuvered erratically, dodging strikes that could shatter them into debris. But for every evasion, a counterattack was launched, missiles streaked toward the KLYX ships, detonating in fiery bursts against their alien armor. The battle was taking its toll. Inside the lead resistance ship, sparks flew as an energy beam grazed its hull, sending tremors through the structure. Crew members scrambled to extinguish fires and repair critical systems, their faces etched with exhaustion and fear. Alarms blared incessantly, a deafening reminder of how close they were to total annihilation. Through the chaos, a single thought lingered in everyone's minds: they couldn't hold out much longer. The KLYX ships were faster, stronger, and far more advanced. For every enemy vessel they managed to disable, two more seemed to take its place. The resistance was outmatched, and the odds of survival dwindled with each passing second. But giving up wasn't an option. Every soldier, every pilot, carried the weight of an entire species on their shoulders. This was more than a battle, it was a fight for existence, a refusal to be forgotten. The cost of failure wasn't just their lives, it was humanity itself. The resistance fleet's leader barked orders through the comms. Divert power from non-essentials to the weapon systems. Focus fire on their lead ship, take out their commander, and we might have a chance. The crew obeyed without hesitation, their resolve hardening. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their families, their home, and the memory of everything the KLYX had stolen from them. As the resistance ships concentrated their firepower, one of the KLYX vessels shuddered violently before exploding in a brilliant cascade of blue light. A brief cheer erupted over the comms, but it was short-lived. The remaining KLYX ships adjusted their formation, their retaliation swift and merciless. Another resistance ship was hit, its hull rupturing in an instant, scattering debris and bodies into the cold expanse. Amid the rising tension, the resistance fleet sensors detected something ominous. A massive energy signature was approaching from hyperspace, the KLYX mothership. The battle wasn't just escalating, it was on the verge of becoming unwinnable. Humanity's crusade hung by a thread, and that thread was fraying. "Let me know if you'd like to continue." The resistance fleet reeled as the KLYX mothership emerged from hyperspace. It was a monstrous silhouette against the void, its sheer size dwarfing even the combined resistance fleet. Pulses of energy rippled across its surface, casting an ominous glow that illuminated the battlefield. For a brief moment, the fighting paused. Both sides seemed to acknowledge the arrival of this unstoppable force. Inside the lead resistance ship, the crew stared at their monitors in stunned silence. The KLYX mothership wasn't supposed to appear this early. It was the final hurdle, the fortress they had planned to infiltrate after neutralizing the patrol fleet. Its presence now was a death sentence. "What's it doing here?" a voice broke through the comms, trembling with fear. As the crew scrambled for answers, a new signal blared across their communication channels. It wasn't KLYX, it was human. A rogue transmission crackled to life, weak and distorted, as if transmitted from the depths of the enemy ship itself. "This is Project Starfire. If you're receiving this, we need to act now. The core isn't what you think it is." The room fell silent as everyone tried to process the message. The core, the pulsating crystal at the heart of the KLYX mothership, was humanity's primary target. Destroying it was supposed to cripple the Empire, liberating every enslaved world in its grasp. But now, doubts crept in. "What do they mean? Not what we think it is?" someone asked, their voice edged with panic. Before anyone could respond, the transmission returned, this time with urgency. "The core is alive. It's not just a power source, it's their master. Their entire empire is built around its will. Destroy it, and you might not just end the KLYX, you might destroy every world it's connected to, including Earth." The crew froze, the weight of the revelation crashing down on them. The core wasn't a mere object, it was a living entity, intertwined with the fabric of their galaxy. To destroy it would be to gamble with the lives of every species and planet under its influence. "Commander," a voice finally broke the silence. "What do we do?" The fleet leader clenched their fists, staring at the mothership on the display. The stakes had shifted. What was once a mission of liberation was now a moral quandary, a gamble with unfathomable consequences. But there was no turning back. They had to act, knowing that whatever choice they made could define humanity's legacy, whether as saviors or destroyers. "Let me know how you'd like to proceed." The resistance fleet surged forward, battered but resolute. The KLYX mothership loomed ahead, its massive hull a fortress of death, bristling with weapons that lit up the void with blinding energy. Every ship in the Resistance's fleet carried scars of the battle, their patched-together armor barely holding. But they didn't falter. They couldn't. This was the moment everything had been building toward. Inside the lead ship, chaos reigned. Monitors flashed red, voices shouted conflicting orders, and the ship itself groaned under the strain of enemy fire. The crew worked in unison, a desperate dance to keep the ship operational. The commander's voice cut through the noise like a blade. "All ships, focus fire on the core. We don't have time for second guesses. This is it." The KLYX fleet closed in, their smaller vessels moving with inhuman precision, their weapons tearing through the Resistance's ranks. Every hit was a reminder of the stakes, every ship lost, a piece of humanity's hope extinguished. Yet, the Resistance pressed on, their desperation fueling their courage. The core, glowing with an otherworldly light at the heart of the mothership, was visible now through the ship's fractured hull. It pulsed rhythmically, a living, breathing entity of unimaginable power. The air in the command center was heavy with tension. They all knew the weight of their actions. Destroying the core could end the KLYX's reign of terror, but it could also doom countless worlds. "Commander, the core's shield is impenetrable," a technician shouted. "We can't hit it directly." The commander gritted their teeth, staring at the holographic display. "Then we go inside." It was madness, but it was the only chance they had. The lead ship broke formation, accelerating toward the gaping wound in the KLYX mothership. Enemy fire rained down on them, the ship shaking violently as alarms blared. The crew braced themselves, knowing this was a one-way mission. The ship breached the hull, entering the KLYX mothership's inner sanctum. The core's glow was blinding now, its pulses echoing like a heartbeat through the walls. The commander stood, their hand hovering over the trigger for the final payload, a weapon designed to destabilize the core. Time seemed to freeze. Every life, every hope, rested on this single moment. The commander whispered, "For humanity," and slammed their hand down. The screen erupted in white as the payload detonated, a cascade of light and energy swallowing everything. "Let me know how you'd like to craft the aftermath." The silence after the explosion was deafening. The vast expanse of space was still, save for the faint shimmer of debris drifting where the KLYX mothership had once loomed. The core's light was gone, extinguished in the blinding cascade of energy that had erupted moments earlier. But with its destruction came a ripple, a shockwave that coursed through the void, touching every KLYX ship in the system. The once dominant KLYX fleet faltered. Their ships, once sleek and menacing, flickered with instability. Without the core, their systems failed, their movements became erratic, and one by one, they began to implode, dissolving into lifeless husks. Across the battlefield, the Resistance fleet watched in stunned silence as their tormentors fell apart, their reign of terror finally ending. Inside the lead Resistance ship, the crew sat motionless, the weight of what had just happened settling over them. Fires still burned, consoles sparked, and the air was thick with the acrid scent of smoke. But they were alive. Against all odds, they had survived. A hesitant cheer broke the silence, spreading through the ship like wildfire. Tears mingled with laughter as crew members embraced one another, their faces a mixture of relief and disbelief. They had done it. Humanity had done it. But the victory was not without its cost. The fleet was decimated, reduced to a fraction of its original size. Lives had been lost, sacrifices made. The commander stood amidst the celebration, their gaze fixed on the viewport. Beyond the wreckage of the KLYX fleet, Earth hung in the distance, a fragile, battered jewel against the dark backdrop of space. They had saved their home, but at what price? The transmission's warning echoed in the commander's mind. The core's destruction had ended the KLYX, but what of the worlds connected to it? Would humanity face repercussions in the days to come, or had they truly severed the Empire's hold without collateral damage? The commander took a deep breath, the weight of the journey settling on their shoulders. They turned to their crew, their voice steady but tinged with exhaustion. "Today, we reclaimed our right to exist. We may never know the full cost of what we've done, but we've proven one thing: humanity will always rise from the ashes." As the fleet turned toward Earth, the camera lingered on the remnants of the battle, a haunting yet hopeful reminder of the price of survival. Let me know if you'd like refinements or additional content. Milky Way. The fleet limped toward Earth, the once vibrant blue planet now scarred by war but still standing, still alive. The battle had ended, but the journey was far from over. Inside the lead Resistance ship, the crew worked quietly, the weight of the mission's success tempered by the losses they had endured. The celebrations had faded, replaced by quiet reflection. As the ship entered Earth's orbit, the shattered planet came into full view. Cities lay in ruins, the oceans had darkened, and the skies were heavy with ash. But amidst the destruction, there were signs of life, tiny clusters of lights flickering on the surface, humanity's resilience shining even in the darkest of times. The commander stood at the viewport, their reflection superimposed over Earth's battered visage. The victory was real, but so were the questions that lingered. The core was gone, the KLYX empire dismantled, but what had truly been unleashed? The mysterious warning from the rogue transmission gnawed at the edges of their thoughts. If the core was alive, as it claimed, could something like it rise again? As they turned to address the crew, their voice carried a mix of pride and caution. Today, we proved that humanity is more than just a survivor, we're a force to be reckoned with. But this isn't the end. There will be questions, challenges, and perhaps enemies we've yet to understand. What we've done here will echo through the stars, for better or worse. The ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, breaking through the thick clouds of ash and revealing the resilience of those who had endured. People gathered below, looking up as the Resistance fleet returned, a symbol of hope, of survival, and of the indomitable human spirit. But as the camera pulled away, revealing the stars beyond Earth, a faint, almost imperceptible glimmer appeared in the distance. A dark shape, unrecognizable but vast, hovered far beyond the range of sensors, watching, waiting. A single line of dialogue closed the scene, whispered like a warning carried on the wind, "This is only the beginning." Call to action. If you've been captivated by humanity's final crusade and want to see what happens next, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned. The stars hold more secrets than we can imagine, and this is just the start of a much bigger story. Let me know if you'd like more adjustments or additional ideas. Milky Way.